For those of you that are on, I apologize. We got kicked off of Facebook, and it might be a connection error. But I'm actually going to just continue. I was talking about the myths around minimalism. So living with less is not something that is detracting from your lifestyle, rather it's adding. So living with less provides more time, money, and freedom to pursue those things that matter most to you. And in fact, it frees you up to make room for those people, the activities, the things that you may not have had time for before. The second myth that is attached to them is boring. The reality is that when you declutter, when you live with less, what happens is you actually begin to value what you have a lot more. So a simple life in many ways contributes to that higher quality of life because you have more time and energy to focus on the people and the experiences that add a true richness and value to your life. So having less actually helps you be present and to enjoy each moment. And then the third myth that I would like to dispel about minimalism, at least in my experience, is that minimalism means that you have to give up so much. And when you let go of excess stuff, so if you have been decluttering you just have to stop accumulating more, that's really what minimalism is just letting go of that and not accumulating more. So when you start to say no to that never-ending cycle of more, bigger, better, that I was certainly trapped in for many years of my life, you then open the door to a less busy, less cluttered life. And that's a life that has more peace, more contentment, and freedom. And what really was profound for me is when you start to realize that your simple life is really a good life, one that you have enough and that you are enough. In other words, you're not striving to do better, than someone else or to have that bigger house, that better car. You just are enough and you have enough. And there's a simplicity in that way of living. So if you're thinking, how can you start living a simpler life with less, one that is less stressful, less busy, and less overwhelming, I have a few quick steps to start that living with less so that you can live more. So the first thing, and of course you're not going to be surprised about this at all, it's to declutter your house and your possessions. And of course that would be what I would say is the downsizing designer, but I know it to be true. So when you remove the excess in your life, the possessions, the busyness, all of that stuff, when you let go of that desire to continue to accumulate more, you'll immediately start to feel lighter, more agile, and free to live that life a little bit differently. So when you pare down not only what you need and love, but things that are meaningful to you and they add value to life, so it's that one shelf at a time, one drawer at a time, one closet at a time, that it does take time to start paring those things down. The second way that you can start to live with less and enjoy it more is to take a no spending challenge. I call it a spending purge. So challenge yourself to just not buying anything for one whole day, and then one whole week, and then one whole month. And that's of no spending at all, other than buying something that you absolutely have to have, like food or maybe gasoline, something like that. But changing your spending habits and not buying more is a very smart way to begin your journey to learning to live with less very happily. And then a third way to live with less and enjoy it more is to minimize your distractions. So when you think about it, when you have less social media, if you go to the beach and you don't take your phone, you don't take anything with you, you can really start to enjoy things more. When you have less screen time, less shopping, whatever it is that you need less of in your life to avoid those distractions, you become more aware of the habits that are preventing you from being fully present. And one is maybe that mindless spending where you just, hop into Marshall's or to somewhere and you're suddenly spending money that if you're not spending it, you're starting to, contribute to your savings, but then also just realizing spending is not necessarily going to make you any happier. So the other thing is it helps you become more focused so you can enjoy the moment and experience your life a lot differently. And the fourth way that you can start enjoying living with less is to practice the art of editing and curating. So what I mean by this is that the challenge of living with less really never ends. Minimalism is going to be a lifelong commitment if you choose to do it. It's making it a daily habit to edit and to curate your possessions, your schedule, your habits, anything that gets in the way of living that simpler life and that more abundant life that's aligned with what you truly want, what matters most to you. And the fifth way that you can start enjoying a simpler life with less is to enjoy a new experience every single day. So this is kind of a fun challenge. So how can you today, even before you go to bed tonight, find one new experience that will just really energize you and realize it doesn't have to cost you any money. Sometimes it's picking up a phone to call an old friend, writing a letter, whatever it is, but those little things that you can do, just a new experience every single day. Living with less frees up time, it frees up money and also energy to focus on those experiences that will add value to the quality of your life. There are things like trips and learning and classes and all of that. Those are experiences that you can have. But minimalism provides a sense of control that's completely different than your life may be right now, because you are now in control over your time and how you want to live it. So it's really about choice. And living with less is definitely a choice. So if you control, and if you're longing for that simpler life, it's important to understand that the choice to push that reset button is all yours. So life doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be busy, and it doesn't have to be perfect either. So if you want a simple life, all you have to do is try integrating some of these minimalist principles into your daily life. And what you'll discover is that over time, your habits start to change. Your desire to own less changes. And you're changing because you're developing a newfound respect and power in the joy of living with less. So I hope this helps you. Remember that we will be posting this in my blog, the Good Life blog, on my website.com. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at ritawilkins@ritawilkins.com. I always appreciate your comments. And so many of you, I see you're here tonight again. I appreciate your loyalty. I love contributing to you and always welcome anything that you would like me to talk about. Have a good night.